A tiny drop of land in the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka. These palm-fringed shores have seduced travelers from around the globe for centuries. Drawn to its mountainous heart, where creatures found nowhere else on earth hide amongst cloud-cloaked trees. Adventurers were enticed by tales of spices and the promise of green gold. But long before tea carpeted these hills, ancient civilizations ruled. The early Sinhalese harnessed the power of nature, transforming a wilderness into a landscape of temples and lakes, creating huge reservoirs of water to sustain life through the dry months. Today, their kingdoms are crumbled. But in these waters, their legacy lives on. An ancient man-made land of lakes, now home to the greatest gathering of elephants anywhere in Asia. A place where a new king rules. The sun rises over the southern coast of Sri Lanka. A land stalked by one of nature's most feared predators. The king of these shores is a hidden hunter. A persistent and fearsome predator. Leopards here are the biggest in the world. A deer carcass has been dragged high up into the trees. The prey of a Sri Lankan leopard. Although more than capable of carrying his own weight in freshly killed meat, he allows himself a moment to rest. The rains have just ended here, and in the dry months ahead, water will become increasingly scarce. Soon, his prey will congregate around shrinking pools. He must save his energy in order to make the most of such rich pickings. Parts of these lowlands are home to some of the highest densities of leopards anywhere in the world. The only leopard population on Earth to have evolved as the top predator in its ecosystem. In India, he must compete with tigers. In Africa, with lions. But here, he can rest undisturbed. Unlike this young leopard cub, one day it too will grow into a great hunter, perhaps even a rival to the leopard king. But for now, it must stay out of sight, waiting for its mother to return. Young and defenseless, it would be an easy target for a territorial male. Like each new life, it has no idea of the trials to come as the dry season tightens its grip. But for now, its world is one nourished by the recent rains. This baby elephant has been born into a tight-knit family dominated by females. Mothers, aunts and sisters provide everything it needs. And this is the perfect time of year for a swimming lesson. Nearby, an adult male, the largest land mammal on the continent. Like most male elephants, he will have left his family when he reached adolescence. Now he wallows alone. In these lush times of plenty, there's no need to join forces with others in search of water or food. It's everywhere you look. Almost 50 times smaller than India, Sri Lanka hangs from the southern tip of that great continent like a teardrop. It's a landscape like no other, where thousands of mirrored lakes breathe life into the land. Edged by the Indian Ocean, saline lagoons fringe its shores. While in the north of the island, pools known as vilus dot the jungles. Natural sand-rimmed depressions which catch water during the monsoons and ebb away as the dry season takes hold. Waters which disappear beneath the mud, only to rise once more with the rains. But many of Sri Lanka's lakes are not what they seem. They may look natural, but these are not creations of the natural world. Instead, they're an extraordinary feat of man-made engineering. An irrigation system begun in the 4th century BC by Sri Lanka's early kings. They knew that while 2 monsoons drench Sri Lanka, only one passes over the dry lowlands of the north, south and east. For much of the year, these lands must survive without rain. And so, they ordered the monsoon to be harnessed. They created a network of lakes, known to the locals as tanks. One of the most complex irrigation systems in the ancient world. The technology they used to harvest rain and conserve water is unsurpassed in the whole of South Asia. And so it was that the lowlands of Sri Lanka came to be nourished by an extraordinary collection of vilus and lagoons, waterholes and lakes. Some the work of nature, others the work of man. These hold what the ancient Sri Lankan king, Datusena, described as his treasure. Water to nourish agriculture and the rich wildlife of Sri Lanka's lowlands. For centuries, grey langurs have drunk from this pool.